Next topic, Karen.
Mhm.
So, you are aware the cost of living price is going up next month? Hmm?
What does the cost of living even? What does that encompass? That's a broad term,
Everything, all bills, everything, petrol,
right?
cost of living,
So energy,
food.
we know energy is going up. We know
The
petrol's
energy's
going up.
going up, petrol's going up, food
What's the
prices
other
are
one?
going up.
Why is food prices going up again? Because of Russia.
No, because food prices have naturally been going up. They're crawling up year on year, slowly, and now it's just getting more and
Usual,
more
what we call
expensive
the
for you to live,
CPI,
basically. Also, post Brexit, food imports have been more expensive.
cost
So
price
it's
index.
yes,
I
that's
just
gone
had
up
this
as
on.
well.
I had this on. I had this on Friday. I had a reminder for our broadband telephone BT. So
Hmm.
had the email saying, "Oh yeah, your
Have you
prices are
been
going up in
getting
Italy."
loads of emails saying we're increasing our prices by this percentage
Yeah, exactly. Which is the
this
CPI,
time of
right?
year,
Which
isn't
you
it? I've had
expect it.
loads of those as well.
You expect it. You expect it. And came a call and said, "What are you going to do? Been with you this many years." Da 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 da. So basically, we got to the point where we're cost neutral. I was like, that's fine. Cost neutral is winning for me now.
Yeah.
Done. Two years done. Fixed in. No issue. A little bit, but a little bit more speed. What I'm really waiting for is fiber to prem. That's going to be the game changer for BT land. Are you Virgin or BT? You're Virgin, aren't you?
Virgin.
Yeah, the Virgin's obviously got the tech and they've had it for a while with your
Depends where you
speeds
are.
up to 1 gig exactly. So Virgin don't do it in our area, but BT will be offering similar thing, fiber to the prem soon.
Anyway, yeah.
Anyway,
Cost of living.
the cost of living is going up, right?
Are you not concerned about it at all?
It's a relative concept, man. Is it going to affect the way I live?
Pretty
No,
much, yeah. Your bills are going to go up.
it doesn't affect the way I live. It doesn't change it. It doesn't stop me doing anything I want to do now.
What do you mean?
So, okay, let me rephrase it. So
Oh, as in
the cost of living has
you
gone
can
up, but
afford it,
has
right?
it's not like it's not a big enough jump for me to be like, okay, I have to cut something out because of that. I will be more mindful about, okay, okay, do we need to do as much long distance driving? That I'll be mindful of. Food, it's pretty much like we don't frugality, man. It comes back to frugality. If you're frugal anyway, these little blips don't really change anything. If anything, if in the bill, okay, from the bill's perspective, it makes me look at, okay, do we need all the services we need? It makes me review
No, I'm
these
not on
things.
about that, bro. I'm on about basic bills, electricity, gas, heating.
Okay, you're not about the Sky TV. Okay, okay. Yeah,
Sky TV
again,
is a part of it, but I'm saying
yeah,
basic
yeah.
level stuff
More like you
that's
have to have things. Yeah,
that's
yeah,
increasing by like so
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
talking essential cost of living here. Luxury stuff we'll cover in a second, yeah. But
yeah,
essential cost of living stuff is basic bills like
yeah. No, the
phone,
ones you said, water, yeah,
water, electricity, and
electricity,
gas.
gas. Yeah.
Those are the
Okay.
five that I would say people need to somewhat live or be
The
able
big, the
to
big
work
five.
from home. Yeah. Cool.
Correct.
Those are all going up dramatically. Maybe
Correct.
not broadband and phone, fine, but the
By
others
the
are
same
going up.
degree, but the others like the thing 50% on there at least.
Yeah,
Yeah.
50%
Yeah, yeah.
minimum.
Minimum.
That's what I'm kind of getting at here. It's yeah, I'm worried because it's scaring. It's scary how much it's going up, and it's gone up by so much now. It's expected to go up again in
So let me ask
October.
you a question. So when we say, yeah, yeah, they have said that. So say it goes up by 50%. Give me an
It's
idea.
meant to go up by about 50% now, but yeah, yeah, in
So
next month.
your monthly, I presume do you pay monthly or do you pay like quarterly or yearly?
Monthly for
Monthly,
some,
right?
quarterly for others, yearly for
All right. So
others. Depends.
let's take one that you pay monthly, right? The amount doesn't matter. By how much more per month do you think it's going to increase by?
Be up to about 50%.
Okay.
That's what's expected at the moment. Everyone's estimating it, but that's how much on average households are going to be affected by it. Let's say about 50% a hike, about a 50% hike. So me and Sandra are okay because we're in like a small flat. So it's cool. Our amount of bills and stuff that we expend in that level isn't
Yeah.
as large as say somebody who's living in a house with kids.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's much higher. And that's a lot more going out of your pocket each month in just essentials.
Hmm.
So the real concern is how it's driving like a lot of people in the middle class and people on the poverty line just further into poverty, and pushing them towards the edge.
They have said this thing about what are they talking about passing a bill to subsidize these costs and how much of
The only
the
bill that's been passed is a £200 loan,
yeah, which is
um,
nothing. I mean, that's peanuts. That's not going to
and
touch you, is it?
they
Yeah.
said you pay it back over 5 years. And that comes into effect in October. That's all that's been proposed at the
Yeah.
moment,
Yeah. Yeah.
nothing else. and that what the month ends in a week and a bit.
Mm,
It's scary, really scary. And also, you saw with fuel how fuel just shot up over like the course of a week. I swear, a
mm.
lot of these petrol companies just make it up as they're going along.
Supply and
Because
demand, man.
have you seen how some of them are approaching like 194, others are like £1.60? It's just, yeah, I bought it at this much, so I'm just going to bump you even more. And it's like, oh damn, this is just random. There's no consistency among pricing anywhere.
Just supply and demand. Like I said, again, these variables, there's nothing you can. Okay, maybe I guess if you're electric car,
The only thing that you
it's
can
good
do
at
is
this
maybe
point.
sell, if you have two cars, you sell one and just use one. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, reduce it. You can think about public transport,
Could try and do
reduce the
public
amount you.
transport, but even in Birmingham, the public transport links aren't, they're not great. They're okay, but they're not fantastic.
Really? Birmingham?
So yeah, I mean, if you take the bus from my parents' house to Birmingham town, it will take you an
Yeah.
hour and a bit.
Yeah, I think it's doable. You're saying it's not
Yeah,
fast. That's what you're
it's
saying.
doable, but I'm
Yeah,
saying
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's very,
It's
very
not
slow
efficient.
and
Yeah.
tedious. And even trains went into like that side of Birmingham, North Birmingham is like every about 15 minutes to 30 minutes. They're not
Mm.
very frequent. I'm not saying it has to
Mm.
increase in frequency, but I'm saying if you're outside of London and you have a car, you're going to feel this more than say those in London that don't have a
Where
car
you
because
have, yeah, where you have to commute.
they can make
Mm.
ends meet in different ways. You can get a bus and it can take you quite far, but
Yeah.
if you're in a car and your cost of petrol now, I think mine went up to like £85 for a full tank, and I was like,
And
ooh,
used to be what?
used to be 60.
Whoa, that's quite a lot. £25.
Yeah, and I'm like, damn, that's
Big
and
jump.
my car is quite efficient when it comes to
And
petrol.
how many? So in a month, will you fill it once, twice?
So at the moment, because I'm only going back and forth to Burns, I'll fill it up maybe once, sometimes twice, depending on if you do a lot of
But
travel in
max
London.
twice.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I can take it, and yeah, I'm like,
Mm.
okay,
I,
it's fine
again,
for me.
I aim for that. The peak, the peak kind of lockdown, I was doing one a month. I was like, this is amazing. And now, yeah, it's kind of back to kind of normal, I'd say, which is like twice a month. But sometimes you can hit three and just like, man, I need to stop driving, man. Plus, I got a lease car. I'm
And
always
you
looking
got
at
a
the
lease car, so
mileage.
you got like a mileage
Yeah, I'm
limit,
always
haven't
looking at the
you?
mileage. I'm like, I'm actually doing really well this year. I was really impressed. But basically because I increased my mileage.
Yeah,
I worked
yeah.
out now because I've had a lease for so long. I'm like, you're not going to do 10,000 a year, man. There's no way you're doing 10,000 a year. Sounds like a
There you
lot.
go.
It's never a lot. But yeah, I think, yeah, when you were talking there, it made me actually think about people. Say, imagine people who live in rural areas where,
Yes, exactly.
right, and
Those are
you
the people
have
that
to
I feel
drive.
most sorry for, or even
You
pensioners,
have
Darren.
to. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Even those who have gone through a full retirement and they're saying, "Hang on, I haven't got any money," and
And
it's
then it's
like
all being expended in, in
pensioners don't have money
energy
for
bills.
like they don't have money for this massive price hike. They're like,
Yeah.
"Shit, what do I do?" And I'm
Well,
like,
the little income they have,
"Whoa."
it's supposed to be surplus, isn't it? For, like you
It's
said,
supposed to be
pleasure,
surplus for
spending,
X amount of
leisure.
years, and now it's
Yeah,
eating into
yeah,
that, and you're like, what the fuck, man?"
yeah. What quality of life are you going to have if all your money is spent on basic needs, right?
I would never want the choice of eating or heating.
Wow, eating or
I
heating,
would
bro.
never want that choice, man. And this is where some pensioners may potentially get to. And when you're
Mm,
older, you get colder easier, as I saw with my nanny and stuff. And it's just
mm,
like, what do you do, man? And obviously the weather's getting more and more extreme.
mm,
Winters are getting colder, summers are getting warmer. So the polar opposites is just making it more and more difficult to live through in the colder months.
mm,
So it's like, fuck, it's really worrying how there's no way around sort of fixing things now. It used to be you can price cut things if you live in a house of like a family of four, etc., and you're the main breadwinner. You can cut out a few things, but now it's like you're choosing: do I have this necessity or this necessity? There's
yeah.
a guy
Like you
who
said,
runs a money saving website.
yeah.
What's his name? Martin Lewis.
Oh, he's always like posting tips, isn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah. Go on. What?
he was quoted on the weekend as saying, "I am out of tools to help people now. This needs
I
government
am.
intervention."
Well, okay. If he's saying that,
He said there's no more tools I can give people. This needs government intervention. This is the worst crisis.
crisis. Mm,
It's worse than COVID. It's worse than any financial crash. He said this is the worst crisis ever. People are going to be pushed into fuel poverty. They're going to be pushed into energy poverty, basically.
What a term, energy poverty. Hmm. So what are
That's
the
why
what
it
are the
scares me. That's
what
why
are
I'm
the what
like,
are the
ugh,
mutterings? What are the mutterings about what the government could do? What are the options here?
nothing. There's no mutterings at the moment, mate. It's just all the chancellor said is,
Hmm.
I'll help you out if things if you need me to. Please look at my track record. I've helped you out in the past. I'm like, that's cool, but the price hike comes into effect next month, and you've given people nothing. If you compare it to other countries across the world that have had a price hike,
Hmm.
let's say if you take France into the equation,
Yeah.
they state own EDF, and what they said to EDF is you're going to take a 7.9 billion hit, and they've capped the price increase at 4%. If they didn't, the price increase seen could have gone up to 50%,
50.
50,
And they've
50%.
capped it at
So
4.
they capped it at 4%. So they
Wow,
caught it early, which
that's
is
really good. Yeah,
big.
yeah.
So doing that is obviously helping their people, because French people don't fuck around. When they riot, man.
Yeah.
Right? They really riot.
Proper.
So
Yeah.
they don't want that state that they don't want that level of rebellion, let's say. So
That's
yeah,
a
I
big
think it's
difference, about 4%,
possible. I think
50%.
I think the government could have done more if they wanted to. It makes me question why they didn't do anything more. Is it because they don't have the upper hand because of Brexit now, and they can't be more stern with other companies? I don't
Hmm.
know why more hasn't been done to help the people, or just help anybody really. Um, yeah, the food bank stuff as well. Food banks are already over, what is it? Not
Subscribed?
oversaturated. They're already
Subscribed?
running low, so they're just going to run even lower now. Yeah, all these things really hit me in the heart, man.
That's it, man. You
And
seem really ducky, man.
I am, man, because I sit and think about it, and I'm like, yo, me and you are okay. We can get through it. It's like
Hmm.
it's more money out of our savings, which is okay. But if you're living on the breadline month to month, which I'm sure newborn newborn, I'm sure that new parents are,
Hmm.
especially if they've got two or three kids,
Hmm.
that's tough, man.
Again, it's about, like you said, sustainability, isn't it? How long can you survive like that? And what quality of life you're going to have for those yourselves, those around you. I think of the different demographics you talked about, the OAPs, they're the ones you think about. When you talk about it, I actually think about our old neighbor who we used to live next to, who
Yeah.
we still go and see sometimes, and proper, like, in his 90s now. He's never left England in his
Wow.
life, uh, and just, yeah, has to think about what he spends on um, heating or
That's
eating.
what that's the thing,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
Like
Because now I've got
when you know
once you have an
someone,
image of someone, exactly, it
when you
becomes
have an
very
image
real.
of someone, it becomes real, doesn't it?
Just like we say
That's
about
the
COVID, isn't
horrible
it?
thing about it.
Yeah, yeah. Then you think of, oh, okay.
And you think like shit, it could be really, really serious. The financial impacts of it all. I had a bit of a theory.
Go
Correct
on.
me if I'm wrong, yeah. So listen to this. Okay, the cost of running a house goes up, yeah,
Yes. Hmm.
which means people either need to downsize or go bankrupt.
Yes.
Those are the two choices you're facing, right?
Because your income's not going to go up, is it? Let's
Yeah,
face
so
that.
you're probably gonna have to downsize. Okay,
Yeah.
so if people downsize on like a
Yeah.
mass scale, does that mean is there a boom slash fire sale on houses going as people look to move in with other family or elders?
Potentially. But who's going to buy those houses? You mean investors?
Maybe investors, but does that
Okay.
mean that the housing bubble bursts? I know this is really worst case scenario, but I don't know if my
Sorry.
theory is correct because I don't know enough about
When you
property.
say the house, why would it burst? Sorry, because too many people are selling
Because there's too many people selling, which means
and
you're
not
over
enough buying.
saturating the market, and then
Yeah,
therefore
yeah, not
it's
enough
just
buying.
I'm using the normal rules of supply and demand, right?
Yeah,
I'm like
yeah,
if
yeah,
there's
yeah.
more supply than that's in demand, then it's gonna people might reach a place in negative equity. I don't know, but is that plausible?
If the value, okay, okay, again, this now depends on if you've got somebody who owns a house 100%, then obviously you can't fall into equity as such. Obviously, the people who are in mortgages, who, if there is so much mass selling that the value of all properties has gone down, that actually, yes, the
Yeah.
sale of the property still doesn't cover your mortgage, and
Yeah.
then you come in. Yes, that potentially could happen, but you're talking like mass. But then for the ability for mass selling to happen, there has to be mass buying. Someone's going to be buying all those properties.
Or not necessarily. If you're moving in with other family members, you don't
Yeah.
necessarily have to do that, do you?
What do you mean? Then put it on rent? Is that what you mean? No.
No,
Or just
if
don't
you
do anything.
no, so if you move out and just move in with a family member,
Yeah.
you're not buying another property, are you? You're just moving.
No. But what's happening to that current house that you're not living anymore? You're selling it.
You have to sell it, yeah.
Yes, I'm saying, but to sell it, someone has to buy it, doesn't it? So if there's mass selling, there has to be mass buying. Otherwise, you're not selling, are you? Someone has to buy this
No,
property.
because then you're thinking of it as an abacus, right? But the abacus doesn't match because the abacus is whenever somebody sells a house, they're buying a house to cover themselves. That's the logical way of doing it. But if in this case it's all everyone's selling and no one's buying, you've got 10 on the abacus of sell and you've got none on the abacus of buying to obviously keep up with it. Can you see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. But in your example there, how can you sell 10 houses if nobody buys those 10 houses? A sale has to be someone buying. It's not sale otherwise.
Oh, sorry. I mean just putting them up for sale.
Yes. Okay.
Sorry,
Yeah. They might. Yeah. Okay.
that's my mistake. I was supposed to say putting it
Yes.
up for sale. Okay.
Yes. The number being put. Yeah. Exactly. Imagine you go down a road and all the
And
planks
they're
are up
all
for
on
sale.
sale.
Yeah. But then that drives
Right.
the price down, which is a problem.
Yeah,
There's
which is
so
what I was
much.
saying. Sorry, I wasn't being clear. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to get at. So that could potentially burst the housing bubble.
What do you understand by the housing bubble?
I don't know because
You keep using this term. You watching the Big Show?
I keep on thinking about everything that happened in 2008 with subprime mortgages, etc., and how it's still going on today.
Yeah.
But
But well, okay, maybe. But in what you're saying now, that's not the same. That was the problem. There was overlending. It's like, oh, you want £100,000? All right, I'll give you £500,000. That's a different problem. People who just cannot maintain their mortgage payments. But it's still, for a different reason, it could still be a problem. It could absolutely be a problem. From a reset point of view, though, I think the world has become. Let me take another analogy. In the way that Punjabi weddings have just become so stupidly big, or had
it
become
needs
so
a
stupidly
reset.
big.
Maybe COVID.
The reset,
was
right?
reset factor.
COVID's a reset. We went back.
I don't think it is. I reckon.
I don't know. I think
so long. They're
now they
gonna
want
push back
rebound
in that direction.
Yeah,
even further.
rebound even harder.
Yeah.
Maybe. But I think some people have woken up to it. Like my sister's wedding was just incredible, man. It's really small, intimate. Loved it. Wouldn't change it for the world. And I think when I have kids, that's going to be the mindset. Again, if they only grow up seeing what they believe to be normal, they're not going to be like, oh, I want like 1,000 people at the wedding.
Yeah.
Right. In the same way, if people were to go back to sort of simpler living in more nuclear families, living with parents and that kind of thing, I don't think that's a bad thing. Now, the circumstance, the catalyst here isn't a good catalyst, definitely. But yeah, that in itself might not be a bad thing. Getting away from materialistic living. And see, when I make this point here, I'm really only talking about those people who are kind of middle class, where it's reducing the amount of luxury.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the people who are already on that kind of line. They're already at the most basic level. But for these middle class people, it might be a chance to just like, okay, do we need this, and this? Do we really need this, and this? What must I have? What is it nice to have? What's nice to have versus what must I have?
I hope so. I hope it's that easy for them as well.
I don't know that one.
Oh, I don't know why my Alexa just went off casually.
She doesn't know that one. I mean,
She doesn't know that one, mate.
She just doesn't know.
Yeah, I'm hoping that it levels everything out nicely, but time will tell. The only other thing on the back of that is if people have less disposable income and they're putting it towards bills, etc., does that mean the economy could potentially get hit as well because people have less money to spend on luxuries?
Luxuries. So you're talking about restaurants, holidays. Holidays are going to be the big one, isn't it?
Clothing, fashion, furniture,
airlines. We just had
holidays.
this massive thing about bloody. Obviously, no one's traveling because of COVID. Now they want that to boom. If nobody's got any money, he's going to be back to staycations again.
Yeah.
Or not even that.
I don't think this has been thought through to the best level. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very interesting to think further down the line the impacts it could potentially have. You can obviously sit here and play God and try and figure things out and draw up this mass danger scenario that may never happen. Mass danger scenario, but it's unrealistic, isn't it? When you try and sit and think about it and try and fathom it and put it into words.
It is what it is. There's a certain degree of critical thinking which I think is important about, okay, what are my contingencies here? What can we cut? What are we going to do? Fine. If you do that to an extreme, though, you will go crazy. You will.
Yeah. I know that.
To the
look
point
at
where
Alex Jones. He went crazy.
Good example. The thing I had in my head was I remember doing a Facebook Live during COVID-1, maybe 2 weeks after lockdown, and it was to help people who were just scared, basically. And there were people who just thought if they were sitting in the house, the COVID was just going to come under the door and get them. Like they were just so scared.
Man.
But these are the people who were just like watching it 24/7 and were just like proper, conspiracy theory, like times 10 or whatever.
Yeah.
Think about it, do practical things, and that's it. Like, it is what it is, man. Like, that's what you can do. What is sad is that, all these things go up. And even if we come back to kind of the broadband, the CPI, all these things go up every year. And it's like, well, our pay doesn't go up like that. Like, that's the most like static thing in the world.
One thing hence why this whole thing is being made such a big deal of, because people, no one expected this energy hike to come. And as a result of it, your income's going to be squeezed for a few months, and then you have to hope you get a pay rise at the end of the year if you're in like a middle class job or a lower class job, right? You're sitting there hoping that you get a pay rise to balance it out that goes up with the new level of inflation. What inflation is now? What, 7% or something?
Bloody hell, 7%.
Man, you really ain't been paying attention to this cost of living stuff, have you? It's wild.
No, not particularly.
Yeah. So
frugal, mate. Frugal.
Frugality won't save you, mate. Frugality will not save you when it comes to something like this.
I beg to differ. It depends where your starting point is. If you're at a point where actually you're so minimalistic anyway, and as in the difference between what you need to live on and your income is there's a
Let's
big
go
enough
back
chunk.
to the Adam and Eve days, man. Let's just walk around naked. That's full frugality. Let's go.
Oh, here we go. Bartering.
There we go. Yeah?
Just bartering.
That's it, man. That's all you need to do. Bartering. What is money? Money is a social construct, right? It's not real.
Absolutely. Look, there are plenty of people who live off the grid, who do their own thing.
There we go.
Not strangled by these kind of constructs. And those are the people you look at now and they'll be like, yeah, we're chilling, man.
I am gonna probably start donating to a food bank from now on, because I do think it's important, man. One thing about donating to food banks as well, I think I was listening to someone come on the radio and talk about this, saying if you could just spare something that has a little bit more flavor, like more branded things that really make someone's week. So even if you were to give them like a plain packet of crisps from Asda or like a Walker's packet of crisps, the Walker's makes all the difference because it just has more taste and substance to it.
Yeah, it's just like
or is the word sustenance? I think it's sustenance. Okay. Yeah, it just tastes better and it just brings them like a momentary joy. And I'm like, shit, man. Imagine being worn down to that point where like your highlight of the day is having like flavored food,
You have been on a...
I've been on a tear, mate. Been on a tear.
You've been on a downer today, man. Yeah.
I'm on a tear.
Well, guys, this is the state of Indy.
This is the Indian Doctor Podcast. Thank you for joining. No, I got
one
more topic.
If we don't come next week, we understand why.
Cost of living got me.